Welcome back to MCOC Al Bundy Rules. Got the Howard the Duck buff tutorial. Going to do a quick little highlight of a little bit of what he can do. We're seeing 49 to 50 furies. Going to see 14 to 20 armor breaks. Going to see the 4 armor up buff. See lots of stuff he can do. Keep in mind, this is only an R3 5-star. Only an R3. So the damage you see, keep that in mind. Very low rank, but as we're going to see during this video, definitely worth the rank up. So he's on my to rank up list at this point in time, especially as many of you know I love Venom the Duck and they got some fun synergies to play together as well. So anyway, let's start this tutorial. Armor up, armor break, and fury buff. So before the fight starts, you get the infinite dormant armor up. Then there's the mash. I'm going to talk about a mash in a moment, but you notice my 1 went up to 5. And then we're going to see when either of them are suddenly you get a fury buff. You're going to notice I'm getting more than 1 fury buff at a time, and we're going to speak about that in mash in a moment. And then when we see when do the heavy, you get those armor breaks. Again, I'm going to explain that on mash why I'm getting more than 1. Because mash, you can either do it manually. Personally, I recommend, at least as of now, when I'm still going to feel, let it go automatically. So I'm going to explain that too. We see it works pretty well. But to master, it's a pre-fight ability. Just click activate. And what this does, either you can keep mashing. The problem is you have to kind of start off slow and work your way up, because each time to get it, if you do it manually, you have to do more and more and more. I mean, you have to get faster, faster, and faster. To me, that sounds like a headache. So online, not to mention your poor phone. This phones and iPads are already taking enough abuse. When you do automatic, you'll see each time I gain 1, after just a couple, I'm already at 8 furies, already at 4 armor breaks, 12 furies now, 13 armor breaks. You see these buffs bumping up and debuffs very, very quickly. So that works very well. Immunity and buff expiration. Bleed immunity is always good, especially for suicide friendly. One of my favorite things though about him is his buffs and debuffs only expire 1 at a time. You don't have to worry about losing all 50 at once, which makes some of these champs kind of a pain sometimes. The ones that build up the armors or de-break armor breaks. And it was furies, because they go off 1 at a time. So as we're seeing each time, watch this right there, 18 to 17, and there we go, and I can regain it back nice and easy. Same with the furies, so you're not just going to lose them all. You have plenty of time to regain it back. Then the bleed immunity, like I said, super helpful against masteries, a lot of nodes, a lot of champs. Let's get into these specials. Special 1 here. So this is good. For it gives you 2 heal block debuffs. Again, debuffs go off 1 at a time, which means 1 is going to go followed by the other one. So both 2 seconds, you can get additional 2, and we see up there I was getting like 4 or 5 at some times. So you can get several of them at once. The reason why that's important is because they don't all expire at once. 1 at a time. So that's a very positive thing. Special 2, 80% chance for inflict suppression. A mash can inflict additional suppression, which is 10% each for 4 seconds. So if you get several of them, hey, that's great. That's going to reduce that power going on. So S2 is good. S2 is also a very good damage item for him. One of his better damage specials right there. And we'll see some good coming from that S2. Special 3. Can be nice. And on the special 3, what this does is we're going to see right there this little crazy little animation right there, and it gives that stun, and it gives you a chance to get on in there and do some extra damage from that. His signature ability, quack-fu, this is when he has a class advantage. So he gets critical resistance, base ability, there's a reason that's 115% instead of 100, and then incoming buffs suffer a negative, in this case, 0.046. Because Domino does a 15% accuracy reduction. You see her ability up top there. So he's really designed to pretty much exactly counter Domino. Is what he is, at least one thing he's designed for. Synergies, see the teammates, the nemesis. We know punchline is a pretty nice one. This gives critical hits pause, personal debuffs for half a second, so that's a pretty nice one. So if you saw the debuffs pause, it's because of that synergy. The New York Brawlers is a nice one too. Opponents suffer 65% evade ability accuracy, so you can use him to counter evade champs within reason right there. So that's a positive one, at least work a little better against evade champs. And not so uncanny is a nice one. knocking them down removes their prowess effects and grants Howard 1 prowess. So in certain fights, each of those synergies are kind of niche, but if you find that niche on an Oda or a champ, bring the synergy along if need be. And prowess 1 could be very nice too in those areas where there's a lot of prowess coming up. Tips for use, I recommend using the pre-fight ability every fight. If you just like destroying your phone and iPad and your finger and just trying to fix the timing to rotate your timing on them, then more power to you and your patience than me, because I'm not at that level. This saves you and your phone the headache, and it builds up respectable. If it was a poor build up, then I might be more inclined to go on the manually way. Look at the build up, it's going very well, so I like that way. Tip 2, focus on parry heavy to build up the armor breaks and furies. Okay, so when you do a stun, I'm saying parry, assuming you have the parry mastery to where you get the stun. This is not going to be effective in stun immune. The strategy is not going to be effective in stun immune nodes because you got to do a stun. So Howard the Duck will have some weaknesses in stun immune because you won't be able to build up those fury. But when I'm doing the parry, I'm building my fury. When I'm doing the heavy, I'm building those armor breaks. I can max at 20 armor breaks. So once I hit 20, I don't really need to keep doing heavies at that point. But as they start to fall off, I can redo them again. So you keep doing that until you're on 50 furies and 20 armor breaks. Then I like to switch to 5-hit combos with occasional parry heavy to regain the expired. So as armor breaks drop off one at a time, again, a big benefit to drop off one at a time. You see the 49 there, you see the 16 there, boom, I'm already back at 50 and back at 20. You see how easy that is. So I let a few drop off as I'm doing 5-hit combos, then I'll go back to a parry heavy to regain them while I'm doing more hit damage as I can go. Tip 3, use on mutants for that quack-fu, if he's awoke, of course, especially for Domino. I mean, he's hand built as a domino counter, but you see the quack-fu come up on there as the pre-fight ability. I explained that earlier in the video, but let me show you a little fight coming up with him against Domino, because when they did this redesign, this buff, I think they heavily had Domino counter and the top of their mind based on certain things in here. So I'm going to show you a fight against Domino going on, and that ability accuracy is the big thing. So he's 115%, so that cancels out her 15% reduction, so it keeps him at 100%. And then you're going to see the fight go, and watch how smooth this fight against Domino is. So if you have a hard time with Domino, which some players still do, then Howard the Duck is worth his weight in gold just for that purpose alone if you do have any difficulties with her. And we'll see how smooth and simple this fight is going. Nice and easy. No ability reduction issues. I'm getting my furies up. All that good stuff. Still got my armor break and my armor up. And continuing this fight till you see how well that goes. So I'm hoping you're enjoying this buff. Pretty cool buff, pretty fun, makes Howard a lot of fun to use. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this tutorial helped you. Don't forget my other ones. Keep in mind, I've also got other buff tutorials out there. Don't forget to click that top left icon to subscribe to MCOC. Al Bundy Rules.